Millions of players battle it out every day in these massive, vibrant anime worlds on Roblox. They grind levels, unlock incredible powers, and clash in epic PvP battles. These games are a billion-dollar pillar of the platform. But what if I told you this entire empire was built on a lie? Or to be more accurate, on a single stolen game. It all goes back to 2008 in a simple, blocky ninja game. The story of how its code was allegedly copied would unintentionally launch an anime revolution that defines Roblox to this day. The game's very name seems to hint at its controversial origin. Land of the Ninja, steal the source code. This is a story of how one of the most popular genres on Roblox was born not from some grand design, but from a single moment of digital piracy that ended up creating an empire. To understand how this all went down, we need to go way back. The year is 2008. Roblox, having launched to the public in 2006, is still a toddler. This isn't the polished, sprawling metaverse we know today. This is the digital Wild West. The graphics are primitive, avatars are comically blocky, and the top games are simple obstacle courses, tycoons, and paintball arenas. But the platform's core identity was already there: user-generated content. Roblox founders, David Baszucki and Eric Castle, envisioned a place where users were creators, not just players. They gave everyone the tools, a basic engine called Roblox Studio, and the community built the rest. In the early days, the tools were extremely limited. Building was a slow-motion process of placing individual blocks, and scripting was a world away from the complex systems we have now. It was the environment on July 18, 2008 that a game called Land of the Ninja was published by a developer known as Snake World. By today's standards, it was incredibly simple. Little more than a flat map with some buildings meant to look like villages from Naruto. There were no fancy jutsu mechanics or quests, just the raw passion of a fan bringing their favorite world to life. While other fan games existed, the Roblox community genuinely points to Land of the Ninja as one of the very first, if not the first, true anime-inspired game on the platform. A landmark that planted the flag for a new genre. And this is where the story takes a sharp turn. The original page for Land of the Ninja had a very strange subtitle: Steal the Source Code. Its description had a line that feels both nostalgic and revealing. Hopefully everyone will remember this as the original copy of the game created in 2008. The legend that has echoed through the Roblox community for years is that the code for this trailblazing game was stolen. In Roblox's early days, the platform was much more open. The ability to copy and repurpose assets and scripts was common. In fact, the game's page explicitly stated, "This experience's source can be copied." Whether this was a deliberate choice by the creator, an accident, or just the default setting back then, the result was the same. The blueprint for the first anime game was now effectively open source. This wasn't necessarily a malicious heist. It was a product of the era. Early Roblox culture was highly collaborative. Budding developers learned by taking apart other people's work, grabbing existing models and scripts and messing with them to see what happened. Think of it less as a robbery, more like finding the secret recipe for a new dish left attended on the counter. Someone found the recipe for an anime game and suddenly everyone started cooking. That single event, the open availability of Land of the Ninja's code, created a massive ripple effect. It democratized anime game creation. You no longer had to be a scripting genius to build a ninja world. You had a foundation to start from. This wasn't just one game getting copied. It was a concept of being set free. The theft wasn't the theft of an object, but the explosion of an idea. It was a spark that lit the fuse. The impact was immediate. After Land of the Ninja was released and its code copy, the platform saw a sudden flood of ninja-themed games. Aspiring developers, now armed with a working template, started iterating. They'd take the base code, add their own twist, throw in a new weapon, build a slightly different map, and release it as their own. The genre wasn't just born, it was multiplying. But this spark didn't stay in the world of ninjas. Just 11 days after Land of the Ninja appeared on July 29, 2008, a developer named Oblivic released One Piece Legendary. It was one of the earliest One Piece games on the platform and showed that the appeal went far beyond just one anime. It had even a stat system where your abilities improved as you used them, just like the ones in the show. The success of these early Naruto and One Piece games sent a clear message. Players were starving for ways to live out their anime fantasies on Roblox. The foundation was laid. The first few years of Roblox anime genre was defined by rapid, rough, around-the-edge creativity. Games were simple, often buggy, and frequently vanished as quickly as they appeared. But they were also packed with passion. They were true fan projects, built for the love of the source material, not for the profit. These weren't empires yet, they were digital treehouses built by fans for fans, tools they could to get their hands on, including, as the legend goes, the code from the very first game. As the 2010s rolled in, the landscape started to change. The first wave of a simple copy-and-paste game gave way to a new era of innovation, led by a group of developers who would become legends, Rel Games. In January 2011, Rel Games released Naruto Online Adventure, or NSOA. This was no clone. NSOA was a huge leap forward. For its time, the game was shockingly sophisticated, with a much detailed combat system and ambitious map, and one of the first character creation systems from Roblox anime game. It stretched the limits of what people thought was possible on the platform and cemented Rel Games as a powerhouse within the genre. They weren't just making games, they were building worlds. The innovation didn't stop. In 2012, the genre expanded again with early Dragon Ball Z titles. Games like Dragon Ball Rage and Dragon Ball Online brought in MMO-like elements, including iconic transformations that players could unlock. Dragon Ball Rage, created in January 2012, proved to have incredible staying power, and is still being updated and played by thousands of players a decade later, racking up hundreds of millions of visits. Through the mid-2010s, the genre diversified like crazy. Rel Games kept the hits coming with the Sword Art Online-inspired game in 2013. The world of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure made its debut in 2014 with JoJo's Alternate Universe, which introduced the game-changing idea of creating your own custom stands, a feature that would become a must-have in future JoJo games. Then, in March 2015, Rel Games dropped Shinobi Life. This was a watershed moment, building on everything they had learned. Shinobi Life was a polished, addictive fighter that heavily influenced the PvP and role-playing styles of the game, sparking the anime game trends of 2016. This period also saw the rise and tragic fall of one of Roblox's biggest games ever, Pokemon Brick Bronze. Launched in 2015, it masterfully blended the core mechanisms of Pokemon with Roblox's unique features, becoming a cultural phenomenon. It eventually got taken down in 2018 due to copyright strike from Nintendo, served as a harsh lesson for the community about using protected IP, a lesson that would shape the future of the entire generation and genre. By 2016, anime games were no longer a small niche. They were a major force, dominated by the vision of developers like Rel Games, who had turned simple fan projects into complex experiences for millions of players. If the mid-2010s were about evolution, the years from 2017 to 2019 were an all-out explosion. This was the golden age of Roblox anime games, peaking with the 2019 boom, a year that launched several titles that could define the modern era and collect billions of visits. This stage was set by mmorpg-style adventures like Swordburst 2, which leaned into large, explorable worlds, but in 2019 was a real turning point. After the original Shinobi Life began showing its age, Rel Games reinvented it, leading to its evolution into the massively popular Shindo Life. This new version introduced bloodlines, rare inheritable abilities that players could spin for, adding a gacha-style element chance. At the same time, other developers were building their own titans. A One Piece-inspired game called Blox Fruits launched in January 2019. It came with its own signature mechanism. Devil fruits that grant users amazing powers which players could find or buy. Its focus on exploration across a huge ocean paired with a satisfying combat loop made it an instant hit. Today it's arguably the most popular anime game on the platform, dominating the charts years later. The JoJo craze continued with Your Bizarre Adventure, another 2019 release that refined the stand collecting formula, and for players who wanted everything at once, Anime Fighting Simulator let you train and collect powers from dozens of different anime series, mashing them all together into one chaotic power frenzy sandbox. This era cemented the core mechanisms that define the genre today. The gacha systems of Bloodlines and Shindo Life, fruit hunting in Blox Fruits, and stand spinning in YBA created powerful, addicting gameplay loops. They mixed the progression of an RPG with the thrill of a lottery. This formula was a recipe for unbelievable success, turning those games from simple experiences into full-blown hobbies for millions of players. From 2020 to today, the anime genre on Roblox hasn't just grown. It has matured into a polished and commercially massive empire. The blocky fan projects of 2008 have evolved into professional quality games that rival standalone titles. The new decade was kicked off by Grand Peace Online, or GPO, in 2020. Also inspired by One Piece, GPO set a new bar for graphics and production value on the platform. Its stunning values and more hardcore progression made it a revolutionary release. It sparked a healthy rivalry between Blox Fruits. As fans debate which offers the better pirate adventure, the accessible, content-rich journey of Blox Fruits or the graphically impressive, challenging world of GPO, meanwhile, the Titans continue their reign. Blox Fruit is still a juggernaut, consistently in the top spots with a constant stream of updates, vast worlds, and a seemingly endless number of fruits and fighting styles to master. Shindo Life, despite its age, keeps a dedicated player base thanks to the RPG system and the deep well of Naruto-inspired lore it draws from. The genre also keeps expanding. The huge popularity of new anime like Jujutsu Kaisen has led to a wave of sorcerer-themed games like Jujutsu Shenanigans and Jujutsu Infinite, which focus on flashy, skill-based PvP. We've also seen the rise of completely new formats, especially anime-themed tower defense games like All-Star Tower Defense and Anime Adventures, have become phenomenally popular by blending character collecting gacha mechanics with strategic wave-based gameplay, creating a whole new subgenre. Today, the anime empire in Roblox is a multi-faceted beast, home to sprawling RPGs, intense fighters, and strategic tower defense games. It's a testament to over a decade of community-driven innovations, an entire ecosystem that grew from the simplest of seeds. It's incredible to see how far things have come. What was the very first Roblox game you ever played? Was it one of these classics or something more obscure? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Roblox history, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss our next exploration. So, how did one stolen game build Roblox's anime empire? The story of Land of the Ninja and its open source code is more than just community trivia. It's a parable for the spirit of Roblox itself. The single act, whether it was theft or just a product of the platform's early open nature, was the catalyst for a creative explosion. The code was a foundation, a single building block that countless others could use to start their own projects. That simple ninja game was copied, modified, and iterated on thousands of times. That cycle of copying and improving is woven deep into the game's DNA. From that one template grew games inspired by One Piece, Dragon Ball, and dozens of other series. The developers of Naruto Online Adventure built upon that foundation. The creators of Shinobi Life perfected it, and the developers of Blox Fruits, Shindo Life, and Grand Peace Online built their billion visit empires on the ground that was broken all those years ago. The legacy of that first stolen game isn't one out of deceit. It's a legacy of unintentional collaboration, of a community's shared passion so strong that it took a single spark and fanned it into an inferno that now defines a massive part of Roblox. It begs the question, without that controversial moment, what would the platform even look like today? And as developers continue to push the boundaries, you have to wonder, what will the next chapter of anime hold?